Your 2-pin plug looks something like this. I will insert the live wire first. Now once you have done that, take the cover, close it up. Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. This video is to instruct you or show you the way to replace a 3-pin plug or to replace to a 3-pin plug. Now the reasons you would want to replace some of these plugs could be that the plug is inoperative, there should be wire shorting, or your circuit breaker is tripping, there's a burning smell. Now, a burning smell is very critical. It could be a failure of the plug itself. It could be a connection problem. What we could do is we could open up and inspect it. What I need is Phillips Screwdriver, a test pen, right, and a wire cutter that I find is quite convenient to use. It is able to cut my wire and trim the insulation as well very easily. It actually has got different sizes down here. Alright, which gives me an indication of what kind of size wire fits into that slot to trim off the insulation. There is a center screw on the plug itself in which you can insert your screwdriver and turn it anti-clockwise. So what we look at inside is a fuse and 3 different connections. Now the right side connection is connected to your live wire. The left side connection is connected to your neutral wire, and the top one is connected to your ground wire. When we are inspecting these type of 3-pin plugs, what we normally look for is either loose wires that have come out from the openings here. It could be cut wires, right? Wires that are damaged or shorting to each other, meaning that the 2 different colors or the 3 different colors are touching each other. The other thing that we check is this fuse itself. Now typically these fuses are rated at 13 amperes for this kind of UK type of plugs. There is a way to check this fuse using a multimeter, which I will tell you at a later video. For now, your 2-pin plug looks something like this, and it's got only 2 points in which you can connect to a socket. Now, whenever you're replacing this, you have to be very careful that the voltage rating for your appliance is, at least for local context, is between 220 to 240 volts. Very often, many of us buy appliances from overseas without realizing that they are not compatible with local supply. They could be 110 to 120 volt AC, whereas Singapore uses 220 to 240 volt AC. So in that case, it's not compatible. Do not attempt to replace any of these plugs with a 3-pin plug. Now, whenever you cut as close as possible to here, so that you have sufficient length of wire for your appliance to be useful. Now, when you cut this wire, it will appear as you will actually have a brown wire and you will actually have a blue wire. Sometimes this can be red in color, but it's very important to identify which is the live wire and which is the neutral wire. And in this case, you notice that there are only 2 wires here. So what has happened is the manufacturer of the appliance has actually decided that there is no requirement for a ground wire to be connected. It is good enough, or it is very safe to actually transfer this to a 3-pin plug. Now, before you proceed to replace any of these plugs, make sure when you get it new, make sure it's a new one and it's rated for the 13 amp supply. Check the condition of the plug, make sure it's good condition, nothing broken, nothing cracked on the exterior, no burn marks, nothing to indicate that it's been used before. Now, what I have actually done, I have actually pre-cut this 3-core wire. There are 3 different colors of wires on the inside. There's outer insulation, there's inner insulation. There are 3 colors that you see are basically your brown, your blue, and your green wire. Now your brown is your live wire, your green is your ground wire, and your blue is your neutral wire. Now typically how we do the installation on this 3-pin plug is very simple. So the first thing you do is unscrew, do not remove it, just unscrew sufficiently. These little screws over here are the ones that are going to hold the wire together to this point. The other thing you need to do is to remove this particular holder over here. Now this particular holder is held back by these 2 screws. Remove one of them completely anti-clockwise and loosen the other one sufficiently to rotate this to the side. Now this will make it easier for you to insert your wire this way. Now Your 3-core wire goes in this way, your brown wire, which is your live wire, and you notice that I have pre-cut these wires already to the correct size. This one takes a little bit of trial and error to get it right. Nevertheless, the connection is such that I will insert the live wire first and make sure it's nice and snug, and then using my test pen, I will tighten the screw and make sure it is nice and tight. That's the first wire. The second wire, I'll twist it backwards, which is my neutral wire. I'll slot it in similar way as the live wire. If you have difficulty putting the wire in, just loosen the screw a little bit more. Sometimes it tends to interfere. So put it in nice and snug. This way, tighten the screw. Don't worry about your insulation moving here and there. We will all reset it nicely later. And your third wire, which is your brown wire, make sure it goes in nice and snug like this, and then you tighten the screw just like that. I find it a little bit easier when I put my finger there to make sure that my test pen is able to tighten very nicely. Your neutral is sitting nicely. Now, very important, once you have done all this, there is a slot here for your wires to sit in. Push your wire through gently without damaging the insulation, followed by the ground wire gently, just like that. So what you see here is now all 3 wires, your brown, your ground and your neutral, sitting in very nicely. Okay, you can push it in a little bit, but just be extra careful that you don't damage the insulation. The next point here is to flip this holder back. Okay, once you flip this holder back, turn it over, holding everything in place, put your screw in, take your Phillips screwdriver and tighten it into the holder sufficiently to hold your wire. Now, it's very important not to tighten your wire too much, because sometimes you may damage this end, you may compress the wire excessively, so that's no good. Now, ensure that your wires are seated properly. If you need to do a check again, go ahead and do it. Okay, make sure nothing is interfering with the cover. Now, once you have done that and you're happy with it, take the cover, close it up, use your Phillips screwdriver again, tighten your main screw clockwise. Do not use brute force, just finger tighten like this and a little bit more. Okay, you don't want to end up cracking this plug because you've used brute force. Now, once you've done that, perform a final inspection, make sure you're happy with it, everything is nice and neat. Now, this is a simple way of replacing a 2-pin plug with a 3-pin plug, or replacing the existing plug with a brand new 3-pin plug. So, thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I am looking forward to making another such video for your home maintenance. Take all the precautions you need to where necessary. Thank you. Have a good day.